What's up? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your host, MB and Klew. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, woohoo!
Man, we got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. MB coming off the top rope on y'all, man. He want to get really deep and in the nitty gritty, man, for all the topics that just keep coming up. And man, I wanted to stay away from this. I ain't gonna even kid with you, but we ain't gonna hit you right up front. We gonna start in order. It's a bunch of NFL draft is coming up fast approaching. We've been a lot of moves made already, which is exciting. I love pre-draft trades. It's just interesting. It kind of tells you the MB for me. It shows me who's serious about winning. That's kind of what it really does for me. And then teams that are willing just to take a chance, roll the dice. Because again, they really care about winning, and they like, look, this may not work, but we think it's gonna work, so we going all in. And so that's been going on. But to even get prepared for that, we've always had this thing called the combine. And guess what, y'all? COVID ended that. No combine this year. But the next best thing are probably something out there that a lot of you don't realize happens. And it's pro days. MB was fortunate enough, and most draft picks are fortunate enough to go to the combine. But people like myself didn't get a chance to go there, so I had to have a pro day. And that's so the combine is when you got all eyes on you. Every team is represented, head coaches, assistant coaches, general managers, presidents, you name it, they walk in and out and through the building. It's an exciting time. I only heard about it. MB can give you more on that. MB, go.
Yeah, I mean, the combine, it's like some people may call it a meat market, but it's not like that. I call it more speed dating on steroids, where you get to speed dating, you get a little bit of everything. You get to kick the tires, drive it, you get to interview, you get to see the guys perform. Like you mentioned, you get an invite. It's over 300, I think it's 330 players that get invited, and all the team is there. So from the head coach, general managers, to the coaches, to the scouts, it's priceless. And you get an opportunity to see the top athletes who do show up and perform, see them perform. But then also in addition to that, you get to, from a medical standpoint, they get examined, they get checked from the top to the bottom, x-rays, MRIs, and stuff like that. That stuff from a team standpoint is priceless in that regards. And then from a coaching standpoint, because most coaches, obviously coaches during the season, you focus on coaches, not like college. But then once the season over with, now coaches get an opportunity to interview the players, to meet the players, and you'll do interviews throughout the week. So these players, man, they have official interviews with the team. And then the position coach, in addition to that, will meet with them individually, set up meeting times so they can get to know them. And then once all that's taking place, everybody kind of get together, compare their notes, and talk about it leading into the draft. So it's a priceless way. And then the last thing is opportunity for a guy, if you test well, to show what you do at the combine. And then additionally, usually what happened, the pro day takes place after the combine, and then gives you an opportunity to clean up some stuff if you need to clean some stuff up, or give you an opportunity to showcase what you could do again if you want to. So to me, it's priceless.
And MB stated something in there about the combine, and he said that medical is a big part of the combine. And I'm actually trying to look for the guy, MB. But the combine really was never about the speed dating MB just mentioned. It was never about the position drills that all of us get excited about seeing, and especially the 225 test. For me, I love to see that. The vertical jump, I love to see that one as well. it wasn't about that. It started in 1982. So that's a long time after the NFL had already been going. And it started, and I was trying to look up the name, MB couldn't find it. But a first round pick was drafted, showed up. They did that, did x-rays, tested him, because the teams would wait till you guys till everybody showed up to actually do their medical stuff on him. We showed up, he couldn't play, man. Back all messed up and everything. The next year, the combine started, and it was a straight medical. Basically, they want you to come there. They want to give x-rays, check you out, have doctors really examine you. And then we out. And then they started adding all these other pieces to it. But 1982, man. So 81, that year, 81 was the year that ruined it.
Wow.
For everyone else. So the combine, really, the main focus of it is to test you as far as medical. So yeah, that's interesting. So as MB said, man, as the combine moves forward, they get their tests, do all the drills and all that stuff, and then the teams break out. The kids go back to their schools, and then the schools start having pro days. Boom, 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 boom. And obviously, the more picks you got, or more picks that you have on your team, the more scouts and all that stuff is going to happen for you. So it pays to be at a Miami, especially when MB was coming out. Everybody was there. It probably looked just like the combine for him, with as many bodies that were out there to kind of take a look at those guys. And this same who's the Ohio States of the world, the Penn States, the Florida States, that whole nine. Right. It looks like that. But MB, the pro day, what I was thinking about, man, and what's important to me is combine times were always traditionally slow. Pro day times were always traditionally faster. So I was actually excited that the guys didn't have to waste their time with a combine, MB. And I thought it was great that, because you see like a guy that jumped off the page to me. I don't care as they continue to make them drop. But Justin Fields, 443, he never looked like that to me, MB. I'm sorry. He never looked like he was moving down the field at a 443 pace. I think obviously he helped himself, especially as the quarterback position is looking more like Lamar Jackson and less like Tom Brady. And with that athleticism piece, I think he helped himself. Of course, they're talking about his arm and all the stuff he can't do. But I think a guy like that, I'm like wondering, would he have ran a 4.6 in Indianapolis? You know how that works. But I'm just glad his first impression and these guys' first impression were huge, because, MB, you can tell me, obviously being at that level as a coach, tell me if I'm wrong. It was as if they didn't take they averaged out what you did in the combine with what you did at your pro day. Is that true or not? As far as like the times, especially.
Well, I mean, what you're alluding to, from my experience, is that when I was coming out, the turf at Indianapolis was the old school turf,
Right.
And so you're right. A lot of people didn't want to run on that turf because they figure out the times are slow. But actually, in the common sense of things, they said turf should give you a faster time than grass. Right. So at Miami, we ran on grass, and we preferred running on grass, and so that made it more exciting. But you're right. Historically, the turf at the combine was known to be slower, but since they went to the field turf, right, the new turf came out, you haven't been hearing that lately. So that's not a big concern. But yeah, back in the day with the different turf, when they had the old school, look like you running on your carpet, the rug. Then I've heard of people factoring in a difference of the times. What surface you ran on became even more important.
Right.
So for that was the thing. From my understanding.
And then the other thing, especially from a quarterback, wide receiver standpoint, the scripted routes and scripted throws, the quarterbacks always to me look better at their their pro days. They're a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, they're throwing to their receivers and not to you know 60 guys they never seen before.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think you get a better look at what because guess what? You can say, "Oh man, we're here. All the ballers cream gonna rise to the top." That sounds good, except for when he shows up at your program, he's gonna jail and with all the guys, all his receivers, and he's gonna your plays are gonna feel scripted to him because he's gonna run them so much that when it's showtime, he gonna be comfortable too. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't buy that he had a bad throwing day and the timing's way off. So I've always preferred to judge them if they throwing ducks, man, and they scripted it all and it's comfortable, it's in they air conditioned MB, then I got a problem with you. Okay, you ain't show up. But don't tell me this guy had a bad day throwing at the combine. He ain't never seen not one of these receivers before.
Yeah, I definitely understand your point. Pro days are definitely, like you said, is more scripted, where the players in control of they control pretty much all the variables for the most part. Because especially when you talk about the quarterback, it seemed like all of them now got their quarterback coach, or expert, and that person there kind of, understand what the scout is looking for and maybe get different feedback. They've been there, done that. So then now it's not like that. John Gruden when he was interviewing him and then he take him outside and make him throw wet balls and stuff like that. So you eliminate that fear factor standpoint. So from a quarterback standpoint, it's definitely everything could be coordinated and synchronized and stuff like that. So you can eliminate the surprises. But I definitely agree with you 100% on that. That from a quarterback standpoint, you want to throw the pro day. But for me, the whole thing when you're at the combine and you're put there, and you're right, it may take you a while, but then that's when you gotta, how well can you adjust? How well can you do this? How well can you that? So you put them on where it's a little bit more stress, and they keep an account of that. Like you talk about the 40 time, they keep an account like, okay, the guy, they understand that. But when you see a guy able to respond in the variables that he can't control, that's not scripted, that's to me is just added value to him. How well can that guy adjust? How well can he do this? How well can they do that? That's the quarterback position, because it's Omaha audible this, audible that, and those audibles timely, they're prepared for it. But I like that. I like the variables where you can't prepare for everything and see how you respond, see how you compete, see how you make adjustment where, okay, I may overthrow this guy again, but I got this guy again. Let me watch instead of me in line, let me watch in the receivers and watch how they run and see what they do and see the rhythm. So I know, oh yeah, this guy's John Ross who just ran a 4.29. He can catch ice cream trucks. I know I need to throw this ball a little bit early. You know what I'm saying? So those quarterbacks, they got to think like that. It's a thinking man position. So I like the fact that they don't have those variables, And so when you take the combine and the pro day, then now you can get a complete picture from both of them in that regards.
Yeah, I completely understand and be what you're saying. I would have to push back that the whole game though is so scripted, like audibles, checks, all that. We know what you're gonna do, or we have an idea, so we're checking as well. And it's just like there's very little that always happened to me on the field, MB, that I always felt like that I hadn't seen before. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I guess that's the problem that I was looking at. And so when I look at the combine and I hear, them complain about certain things, and I'm thinking, man, if you sit them in a room every day, what's training camp? Feel like 2 months, but it's probably only like 5 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. But
3 weeks.
And what happens is you feel like you feel like you done seen all this before. Even if it wasn't for this team, you saw it 2 teams ago. You know what I'm saying? It be so it's just like, so I just always feel like, but I do understand, like, stuff does come up, but man, at the NFL level, you're prepared for so much. And then if you're a student of the game, you go home and prepare some more, that you come back telling them stuff that you think they ain't seen before. You know what I mean, MB? So it's like you do that much. And listen, you learn that when you have big time, big brother vets like MB and Jesse, Jay Boogie, Armstead, because they teach you, you better know this stuff. And then, you know, they hold you accountable and responsible the entire way. So maybe it's me, MB, thinking about what was done and then how you guys trained us. I'm like, man, you better be prepared. Like, what else are you doing? Why are you there if you ain't?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, but that's part of the game, because you can prepare, and obviously more prepared you are, the less variables you have. But it's no different. I mean, you go and then the weather changed or picked up. I mean, those variables that you can't control. In some things, like I said, especially, you know, you look at Tom Brady, and I mean, he's been there, done that, seen it all. But yet it's some adjustments you got to make where, like I say, I don't think you can cover everything. Like, something may happen, you know, a guy may get jammed. You know, you're supposed to go this route.
Oh, right.
And this guy slips, you know, that's your first read. Then they're on the fly. You got to go to the second read. You know, when you're at that quarterback position, that thinking man position, you want to see how those guys handle those variables that, you know, something's been changed, you know, like, man, I miss it, or somebody blew something, or somebody slipped, or something like that. You know, you want to see at that, especially at that position, how well, you know, that pressure. We always say pressure bust pipe. You want to see how a guy respond to stuff he can't control, you know?
Right.
And that's the thing that I think you want to see. But like I said in the beginning, you're right in the sense pro day where everything's scripted, cool. But when somebody changes the script on you, you're not prepared for how do you respond. I think that's an important, valuable, that's an important ingredient that I would want to know if my quarterback can handle or not, you know?
So first question, like, is it better than the combine, MB?
What better than combine?
NFL Pro Day. So each college pro day as a whole, do you think this is a better look than the combine and bringing everybody into one space and kind of doing it there?
I think, like I said, if it depends on who you are, right? If you're a guy and you trying to move up on a draft, ideally, it's like it's like American Idol, right? It's like, it's one thing singing in front of your mom and dad. You want to be able to sing in front of everybody, sing in front of the world, you know?
Right.
And so for me, if you're a great tester, you're a great performer, whatnot, man, you want as much people there as you can. And the combine gives you that because, like we talked about earlier, every important person is there,
right?
And they all watching you, you know, as opposed to when you go to pro day, it depends on who you are, right?
Right.
But so if you're a big quarterback, you know, talk about Justin Field, obviously team looking for quarterback, they're gonna have their general manager there, they're gonna have their head coach, they're gonna have a quarterback coach. But shoot, when you're at a combine, you got all hands on deck, you know, you got everybody, all the important decision making, all the scouts are there, you know. You got everybody's there, all the set of eyes, so you get to showcase what you can do on a bigger stage. Now, from a performance standpoint, you talked about that. You know, obviously with the quarterback, we just alluded to that. No need to beat the dead horse, but you get to coordinate on your own terms, and you get to showcase your strength because you're in charge of the remote control. But I think combine is better in regards to if you're a great tester, and just because of the fact you can check all the boxes. You got all the people there. You got more eyes on you, and you could just jump out, you know, as opposed to, because you know what, at the combine, it's always somebody that jumped out. Oh, man, I didn't expect this workout warrior, you know what I'm saying? And then everybody saw it and be like, wow, you know, I saw the same thing, blah, blah, blah. Right. You know, so everybody, it's like the fish, man, you should have seen my man, I reeled it in. Yeah, okay, right, okay. But everybody's seen it, even if they seen the film, they're able to see it in person. It just weighs a whole lot more volume. And then, like I said, everybody get to put their hands on them too, because when you're at the combine, man, it's guys as a position coach, I get to meet with those guys. I get to meet with all the linebackers that's there. And so that's so valuable, man. It's so valuable.
Man, well, it's just interesting to me how all that plays out, and I'm glad that they're having the pro days. I think the guys are going to do, and obviously we've seen that they've done tremendous. You've seen glowing reports,
Yeah,
out of all the top guys. I love that, and so for me, I think it should always be that way, especially with the way the internet works in today's world. Because heck, I can be a general manager and sit right here at my computer and watch every pro day. Obviously, like MB said, you won't get a chance to talk to them and all that kind of stuff. So that's different. But you really can lay eyes on more talent. I think that way. Then the other way is you only see those 300 or so people, and then all of a sudden you go back, and then you're only going back out for those guys and maybe some other guys that somehow somebody heard about or missed or whatever. Because like I said, I didn't go, but I worked out for 3 teams. I don't even know how that happened, but it did happen. But like in a situation like this, I would have been able to get more eyes on me.
What, the pro day?
With the pro day, yes. In today's world, with the internet, you see what I'm saying? With streaming,
yeah. No,
that's what I'm saying.
No, but that's always been there in the sense of pro days where we come in because they film the pro day and you get the film. But I think the combine gets more eyes on you if you're lucky or you're blessed enough to get invited there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true. I'm saying you get to see more people with the pro day being streamed like this. Live action. You see them against the guys that you've rated high. So say there's you're looking at them in their comfort area. And these are guys that weren't invited, MB. That's why I compared it to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden you're watching, you get a chance to see everybody. Now you're saying it's filmed, it's on tape. I don't remember no cameras out there when I was doing it, MB. I'm saying like when you were doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like you're saying when you actually done it as a player or as a coach.
No, I'm saying both. I mean, it's always been filmed. Like your pro day. Like I remember when I was getting ready, you guys are filming and whatnot, and you'll see what they're doing and stuff like that. Obviously, they film the combine, they'll film the pro day workout as well. And so for me, from what I'm saying, I guess, is that the combine to me, if you're able to go to combine, you got more eyes watching you from that standpoint.
Yes, absolutely.
So then now, so you get more. And then you got everybody like the general. But what happened to these pro days, because it may be a scheduling conflict. So such and such may have Alabama have a pro day on this day, and somebody have got a pro day on the same day. And then from a position coach standpoint, you only go to one. So they may send you Alabama, but you're missing this. So you know what I'm saying? So from that standpoint, so then therefore, then you got to go back, look at the tape. You got to look at the pro day workout, see what that. But as opposed to you missed the opportunity to get to know the person, so that it's like buying a car, and it's like buying a used car, and you can't have your mechanic check the engine. You know what I'm saying? Like you just right. So those are things. The more hands you can get on, and that's the scheduling conflict stuff where combine, everybody in the house, everybody getting to see you, all eyes on you, all the decision making. So to me, it's priceless. The combination of both definitely works better.
I would like to know a study brought out, because NFL seems like so much behind trying to pick the right guys, that I like this. And then we were discussing this, remember the last show, MB, how many, basically kind of in a nutshell, how many misses are there in the NBA first round? Because we were talking about, I know the lottery,
right.
let's
First
extend that
round.
all the way to the first round. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, it's the first round to me. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And you were speaking. One of the things you hit right on is they don't all. It's like they don't always care about that pick. Where the NFL, that's a coveted pick. Whether you picking 1 or 32, that's a coveted pick. That first round pick. That first round pick comes into the building. He's expected to change the course of that team or add to what they're already doing today.
Right.
And it just, like you were saying with basketball, don't seem like the same kind of pressure on there. So I would like to know percentage wise who does better with the first round, NFL or NBA.
Oh wow, yeah,
Like real numbers, not us just thinking our opinion.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Like it's a different animal because I mean NBA, they only got 2 rounds, you know.
Right.
And it's an international sport. I mean, 25 read somewhere today, 25% of the incoming, or I guess it's incoming draftees or whatnot. I don't know if it's just draftees are from overseas. You know.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a different animal. The competition is amazing, and you only got 2 rounds just because you know that it's a limited amount of number. The numbers are smaller, you know. So that competition is fierce. So just because you're a first round pick, don't mean that you're gonna come in and play right away or make an impact. So, but you're right.
MB, when we go through the draft every year, there are tons of guys that end up being dudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year. But they missed big time. Even if it's a dude like Tucker that plays with us with the Lakers, that everybody who we talked to about trading at all want Tucker involved in the trade. Mm-hmm. And he was an undrafted guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they miss a lot. It seems like they just miss more. Now, again, but I can't put them behind
that. Yeah. I mean, I would like to, like you say, like to see the numbers, but to me, I just look at it like I always say, man, that 12th man on the bench is bad because you see a lot of lottery picks that don't have a major impact right away, you know?
Right.
And then you're like, wow, you know. And then the other thing that I was watching as well is that I noticed like a lot of guys are like at this time, obviously they're declaring to go declaring for the NBA draft. But when you look at their numbers, you're just like, man, they ain't really killed it. Like,
MB, we gonna hold on to that.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I'm like, man.
Because there's a little bit something later on in the show that we might get back to that. So moving right along with the staying with NFL vibe, our guy Deshaun Watson, who we were talking about early on, as far as him getting ready to be traded somewhere, and the Texans sticking their heels in the dirt and saying, "Look, we ain't going. Hey, look, I don't know about you. You saying you being traded? We ain't trading you nowhere. You are our guy. Period. Get used to it." Shortly after that, man, his world's been turned upside down.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he was LeBron and Chris Bosh and darn Dwayne Wade, as the women started calling out, saying that he had you know, he accusing him of different things. Now one, not two, it's somewhere in 1 or 22 now, MB.
I was wondering where you go with that Chris Cross, LeBron, and Dwayne. I'm like, where's he going with that? Okay,
I saw you. You went to
I'm like, where in the world is he going with that? Okay, I got you. Go ahead. I got you.
I know you was frowning like, what?
I was like, what
are you about to talk about?
Yeah. But I got you now. I'm right here with you now. I'm right here. We're on the same.
I remember them being on the stage saying,
yeah, I got you.
And MB, at the end of the day, what we at? 21, 22 accusations?
Yeah, 22.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And seems like growing. Let me jump out in front and say, obviously, horrendous accusations. No one should be, ever put in those type of situations. I man, like that's horrible for any person involved. On the victim end of that. That's a horrible situation. But he's saying he hasn't done it. He hasn't done a thing. He's full court press and trying to fight it. And what worries me is I think we're only up to 2 real complaints now. And when I say real complaints, so out of the 21, 22 women, I think there are actually 2 that went to the police at this point. And that's worrisome to me, MB. Like, but the attorney approached him weeks ago, months ago, I think it is, with a payoff. So it's difficult to start, really without the real information, the truth. It's difficult to know where to go with this. And I'll be honest with you, MB, I asked Pac Jam this couple of days ago. I say, if you Roger Goodell, what do you do with this?
Right.
Like, honestly, what do you do with this? I know he's been placed on the exempt list now.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Okay. So I'll retract that then. I think.
Yeah. From the NFL, only comment I seen, and Texas said the same thing. NFL said the same thing. Was that we're
monitoring the situation.
Yeah, we're monitoring the situation closely from the beginning. So that's all they said. They didn't come out with me.
So here's the deal. Honestly, they can't do anything to him, MB. Anything they do to him is going to be met with a fight from the NFLPA. Because at the end of the day, he hasn't been convicted of anything. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was saying, if you Roger Goodell, MB, this is a huge black eye. This will follow, it's obviously part of NFL right now, but it will follow throughout the entire thing, throughout the entire season, off season, you name it, postseason, if he's a part of the team and organization. Here's the other kicker, MB. We had the last Pro Bowl they had here. I'm going to the Pro Bowl to MB, and I'm walking up, and I'm like, man, it's fans on both. Like, it's fans, and it looks like a tunnel, MB. Like, you know how in college you walk through whatever, and it's fans on both sides, and so I'm looking, I'm like, man, they gonna stop the buses up here and let the team get out and walk through and sign autographs or something. I'm confused, MB. I get up close. What I thought was a line to celebrate players was actually barricades with Peter protesting about Mike Vick. So I'm saying that to say this is what you're going to get from the NFL all season long if he's a part of it. Mm-hmm. That's and you're going to get people speaking out against it, and because they've already made their decision whether he did it or not. Hey, he shouldn't be playing. Basically, they're saying he did it, so he shouldn't be playing. So this is MB. I'm lost for words because we don't know what the truth is. Right. All we know is a lot of people saying very similar things about one person. But the only reason why I ain't jump out there, jump off the porch and say he did it, MB, is because money seems like it was the first go-to. Was financial, and that's what bothered.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. I like when me and Pac Jam, we had the show earlier, we was talking about it. I like what Pac Jam brought up. He said, man, obviously if he did it, he deserved all the punishment he deserved. It comes with, excuse me, that's a better term. But he said, man, and so he said the flip side though, I'm a little concerned when people seek money first over justice first.
Right.
I think, and I mean, I wish he was here so you can quote him. I think he said something similar to that, and that just stood out with me. I was like, wow, you're right, because now you got a civil lawsuit, but then nobody at that time filed the police report, you know? And
MB, here's what's important about the civil lawsuit. If you have a criminal conviction, generally it's a slam dunk for the civil.
right.
So it's like you even if that's your ultimate motive, you still should go to the police first.
Right.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah, that was the thing that you had, like you said, he's counting 22, and at the time nobody went to the police, and then the lawyer said that he was going to put something together for the police, right? And then he switched out and said, well, the lawyer got a son that works for the police department. I'm a little concerned about that. I was like, oh, come on, man. So it was like, everything was fabricated through the media. And then the other thing was like, nobody had to give their name. So they just released the day that the judge just put an order that out of so far is 22, but they dealt with it. They came in different layers. So 12 of them have to reveal who they are right now, and then they petition the other ones to reveal who they are, just because and so it's catch-22. But he was like saying, just to be fair, because right now their lawyers able to bash Watson through the media and hide behind the nut. It's like, no, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of catch-22 in that regards. But I like what Pac Jam said when he said that. I was like, man, you're right. That definitely, perk you up and like, man, why didn't they go to the court first and obviously, or go to the police first? And obviously, I've never been in that situation where I had to make a decision like that. So so I don't want to be insensitive to what it is like to have to go make that decision, that call, But still, that brought up a red flag for me.
And I'm not trying to go that far and be like you said, but saying like, taking, however amount of time each individual victim took before they even went to the attorney. But my problem is, once you decide, I don't think an attorney is my first stop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whether I waited 20 years, I still think I'm going. I'm going to go to the police first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I like the way you said that. And then the other thing for me that was alarming, right? And because I kind of started my professional career in Houston, not with the Houston Texans, but the Houston Oilers.
Yes, sir.
I was a part of a veteran team, right? And one thing I learned from those guys is how to take care of your body, right?
Uh-huh.
So when because we had a veteran team, a lot of those dudes was double digits, playing, and I was like, man, so Bruce Matthews, all these different dudes, man, but one common denominator I saw them do was take care of their body. And one of the ways they took care of their body, modalities they used, was massage, right?
Right.
And that's the thing that concerned me. Usually at that level, man, when you at that point, like, you got a team of people. Like, my masseuse, man, is like, usually dudes are traveling that masseuse around. Right. I'm not trying 18, 20 different masseuses, you know what I'm saying? Like, my body, like, you make a team not in the tub, the ice tub, you make a team on the field. So I was alarmed about how many, like, even to his defense, he had like 18 masseuses came out and said, hey, he never did anything. He's been a professional, and we collectively, we gave him over 100 something massages. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was disturbing to me, because normally at that position, you just sign a big contract, all this stuff like that, you usually got one or two guys that's working on you, that's working
right. That's in different areas. Like your home in Atlanta, you got one there, and you got one in Houston.
Yeah, exactly. But then if the allegation is true that he flies somebody off randomly, I'm like, wait a minute, that right there put a red flag with me in that regards, like, because this dude, a Pro Bowl player, perfect. I mean, and I'm no older guys on the team. Look, you got to take care of your body, and part of taking care of your body is finding a great masseuse. They're hard to find. I'm not getting no just like just rub me down or no, man. I need somebody who knows my body is gonna take care of me, get the kinks out. Cause that, especially, cause you got to get ready to play. And so I'm not just going to take that chance with anybody. And I'm like, wait a minute, that kind of threw me off. That was a red flag on the other end about that. That kind of threw me off with that one,
Wow. What? MB, I think we got Laser in the building.
Yeah, Coach Laser, baby, talking baseball. What's up, Coach?
How you doing, guys?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. I need one of those masseuses on me right now.
No.
Hey, LB.
No.
I let my Groupon expire after this Deshaun Watson stuff, man. Good, man. I'm gonna stay at home.
Well, nowadays we go to you go to massage and you don't care. But back in the day, man, I know for me, I can't speak for everybody, man. I mean, that masseuse was like important, man. That was part of my
I stole your guy. I had your guy too.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you, it was important, man. You had to have it, man. I mean, that's a valuable tool.
And I will tell you this. I used to get it done on after that Wednesday practice, MB.
Yeah.
I was and got my body worked on Wednesday after I was ready to play Thursday.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm ready to go Thursday, like all out. Let's do it.
Right. Shoot, I used to get them for that same guy, Joe. Yeah. Man, I get them 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, but as you get older, you just got to get your body right, and that was a value. I mean, that and a chiropractor and stuff like that. And you had a team of people. Coach Laser, yeah, baby, you went black on me, man. You doing blackout? Coach Laser, can you hear us? Coach?
He's on there.
I don't know. Oh, he probably have to come back on.
Well,
that's the only part that disturbed me, Caleb. When I was like, why he trying so many different masseuses, and it's during the season too. It's not the off season. It's during the season. I'm like, oh man,
that's year round, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's year round.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of doubt. You know me, I'm trying to turn over the stone.
MB, I don't know that many masseuses. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
But that's the red flag. So I got one flag, like you said, with them. Why didn't they go seek justice first, right? And then the other flag is with him. Why are you trying so many different masseuses? That kind of threw me off, So just to be fair, let's balance that. But Coach Laser, babe, one thing he throwing me off, man. What's up? Major League Baseball, man, started last week, man, maybe a week ago, right? Getting it done. Talk to me, man. What you see out there, Coach?
Man, I'll tell you one thing, guys. It's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be a very exciting year. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of parity in the big leagues this year. Okay? I mean, when I tell you that, I mean, a lot of the teams have really reinforced themselves with free agency. Some of the young guys that have come up through their system as well. And it's just going to be very exciting. And especially, I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be very exciting in the National League East with Philadelphia, the Braves, and the Mets. I mean, all these teams have really done a great job of signing free agents to win now, not, build a team or anything like that, to win right now. So it's going to be exciting in the National League East. Another place that's going to be really exciting is in the National League West with the Dodgers, the Padres, and one team that's really come from nowhere is the Rockies, Colorado Rockies. But San Diego did a great job this year in free agency, getting Hugh Darvish as their number one pitcher, especially with the staff they had last year. That's a team that people better look out for with Machado. There again this year, Eric Hosmer, Tatis,
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, it's going to be a very exciting year. You're really not going to be able to pick a winner right now. You know, a guy where you're going to say, hey, this team or that team, you know, they'll be headed to the World Series or to the playoffs because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of parity right now in the big leagues.
Right. Well, I mean, is it
So,
who right now can go get those Dodgers, man? I guess the Dodgers was a super team last year, ended up winning it all. I mean, is it who can go take the crown from them?
well, in the National League, it's going to be hard to beat the Dodgers. But like I said, you know, teams like Philadelphia, you know, when they went into free agency this year, you know, and I said it before, they went to free agency to win right now.
Right.
You know, they got Harper, Real Muto, that kid that won Rookie of the Year last year, their third baseman Bond. Um, and then again, if somebody's going to give the Dodgers in the West a run for their money, it's going to be the Padres this year.
Right.
The way I'm looking at it, guys, the way I look at it, one of the teams that's going to sneak by everybody, and they've started slow this year, is the Braves. I mean, they
Okay.
got Freddie Freeman, MVP last year.
Yeah.
Uh, they just signed Lindor to about $160 million contract as a free agent this year. They got the pitching. They got DeGrom as a former Cy Young Award winner. They've I'm sorry, that was the Mets, but uh, DeGrom is with the Mets. But the Braves, be careful with the Braves this year, okay? Because they got a team where they could win it all. They really can, and there's
Wow.
not going to be a lot of, how could I say this, guys? There's not going to be a lot of dominant teams. Yes, are the Dodgers pretty much the most dominant team in the National League? Yes, absolutely.
Right. What about the American League, Coach? What's your thoughts on that? Who should who should we be looking out for in the American League?
Well, you know, it's funny. Of course, everybody's a big time New York Yankee fan, just like me. But
Yep.
there's a lot of teams right now. Uh, the Astros are hot. I mean, they're just really, really hot. A team that people are not talking much about, but they just keep winning are the Twins, Minnesota Twins.
Mm.
Um, and a team that people were looking to challenge the Astros with the Oakland A's. And the Oakland A's right now, I think they're like 2-7 or 2-8. So, but they still have a good team, and you know how it is, guys.
Yeah.
And
Still
it's not
early.
like in football where it's only 16 now 17 games. You're talking about 162
Right.
games. I mean, a
Right.
lot of things
The
could
grind.
happen. You know, you see teams that like the Oakland A's that are supposed to be right there with the Astros being 2-7, 2-8, and
Right.
within a week or two, they could be 11-8,
Right.
12-8. So what I see though, guys, is I feel the National League this year as a whole is a lot stronger than the American League this year. So
Okay.
that's the way I'm looking at things. I think there's a lot of players that they're gonna, and I don't know if you want me to talk about this, but there's a lot of players that's gonna be a breakout year for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Talk about it. Who should we look out for a breakout year? Who's those
you know,
guys?
I'm gonna start with my Marlins. I'm gonna start with my
Marlon.
Marlins. There, there's a right-handed pitcher who was the only All-Star player last year for the Marlins that represented the Marlins in the All-Star, Sandy Alcantara. Here's a kid that's 25 years old. Last year made the All-Star team, like I said. Um, this is his year. This is a year that they're looking at him to be in the top 5 Cy Young award winners. And this is a kid that's finally learned to pitch. He's always had the arm. He throws 98, 99, has hit 100 before, but has never learned how to pitch. And this is the first year that he's learned how to pitch. So here's a guy that, everybody's following because this is the year for him to, if he's going to have a breakout year, this is the guy that's going to do it. Another guy that I'm seeing that should have another good year or kind of come back from an average year is Bryce Harper.
Oh yeah.
Bryce Harper then hit as far as average as well as he's always hit, anywhere between 290, 310. This past year, he hit like 256, 260, somewhere in there. His home runs were there, his
Right.
RBIs were there, but his
Right.
on base percentage was not there. But since the spring, that's one of the things he's worked on. He's worked on a lot of more making contact and not really going. Who's that beautiful young lady right there that I
There
see?
you go.
Hi, I'm Callie.
Hi, nice to meet you, girl.
Nice to meet you
Tell her
too.
you play softball.
I play softball.
Oh, there you go. You're one of mine then.
Coach, we
So
just got her involved. She's a tennis girl, and then
okay,
we just started her with softball as well.
that's good, man. That's a good sport, and I love tennis, man. More and more, I tell young players, man, you got to play other sports instead of just playing just baseball. Play soccer, play basketball.
Right.
That helps you. Those sports help your feet. But going back to Bryce Harper, guys, I'm looking at him as an MVP candidate this year.
Wow.
A player that's just, he's been around a long time, but the kid's only 27 years old, and
Wow.
he's been out there since he was 19 years old. So, but he's an animal. And last year he had a kind of a down year average wise and
Right.
stuff like that. But he should be fine this year. The other kid that's gonna, I think, is just gonna blast everyone is the kid from San Diego, the shortstop from San Diego Padres, Tatis.
Yeah.
This kid is special, man. He
Right.
is special.
And he
He
just
could do
got paid
everything.
too, right? They just paid him
Well,
too, huh? He got paid.
he got paid a lot of money, but and like I said, San Diego, you put Tatis, you put Machado, you put
Right.
Eric Hosmer in there. You're talking about three of the best players in the big leagues,
Wow.
and what they did with their pitching staff this year, and acquiring Hugh Darvish and the type of relief pitching that they have this year. Look out for San Diego. Look out
Right.
for San Diego. So it's going to be an exciting year, guys. It's going to be a real exciting year. It's going to be an exciting year getting some of these call-ups this year, some young call-ups this year towards the middle to the end of the summer. That young guys that should have been in the 20. Well, nowadays it's 27-man roster. It's not a 25-man roster anymore. That should have stayed, but they wanted to season them a little bit more and get a little bit more at bats in the minor leagues. But some of these young guys that are going to come up this year, guys, they're special. They really are.
Right. I was looking at you was talking about call up. I read somewhere where the dude, I don't know if somebody got hurt or whatnot, but he was able to take advantage of DH and he went for, I guess he had 8 hits, it was Mercedes or something like that, I think.
Are you talking about the kid from the White Sox?
Yes. He had started the season with 8 hits, 8 consecutive hits. And he wasn't even supposed to be a starter.
No, first at bat, first pitch that he's ever seen in the big leagues, he hits a home run. First pitch he's ever seen in the big leagues, and he went off after that. He went off. It's like you said, he had 7 or 8 hits in 3 games. That's another kid, and that's another team. The White Sox are pretty loaded. As a matter of fact, Michael, they got one of ours, former University of Miami catcher, Zach Collins, that was a first rounder 2 years ago, and he made the team this year. And Zach, here's a kid, guys. You talk about a professional hitter. This guy's going to hit, and he's already in the starting lineup with the White Sox. So, guys, it's going to be exciting years. It's going to be an exciting draft this year in June. There's a lot of good college players, man. There's a lot of, as a matter of fact, again, Miami has a kid. His name is Del Castillo. He's a junior catcher. This kid's going to make anywhere between $2.5, $2.7 million in June. He's a legit first round pick. college baseball's hot this year. The College World Series is going to be hot. I know I'm getting away from Major League
No,
Baseball,
it's all
but
good. You can talk.
there's some good teams, especially in the ACC. Virginia's loaded up again. Florida State's loaded up again. And a team that's little by little going forward in the ACC is Georgia Tech. Miami started as the number 1 team, well, number 2 team in the nation, and they've kind of gone backwards a little bit. But that's, in the ACC, when you play ACC baseball, you're playing like a double A, triple A schedule.
Wow.
ACC baseball and SEC baseball, it's like playing in the minor leagues. That's, you're going to get their Friday and Saturday and Sunday starter. These guys are going to be throwing anywhere between 94, 98, 99 miles an hour. Where you didn't see that. And that's why there's so many first round pitchers nowadays. I don't know where they're getting their velocity from or what they're doing, but man, I'm telling you, you guys go to an SEC or ACC game and sit down and look at their Friday and Saturday starters. They all throw above 94, 95 miles an hour.
So, Coach, let me jump in there real quick. Why is there? Why is it? Has it always been that way? First of all, where more kids are going to school and actually getting drafted out of college, or is it still they're picking them off before they make that decision to even go to college?
That's a good question. Nowadays, professional teams are going more to the college player, and the reason is because of maturity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the other way around, where high school kids, they wanted to get the high school kid at a young age, 17, 18 years old, and develop him. Well, the problem that's happened is because those young kids, they know, number one, what to do with that money. And sometimes you have parents that have no idea. And number 2, which was the most important reason they changed, some of those high school kids were never alone, in Utah or in Billings, Montana, they know what to do. And what does a kid do? They mess around all day. They're doing this or doing that. So Major League Baseball has gotten back to the college level for those first, second, and third round picks. Doesn't mean that, there's kids now in high school, guys. We just saw one 2 weeks ago. He's from Naples, Florida, or somewhere around there. This kid's 17 years old and hitting 98 miles an hour. 17 years old. And I told my son, I said, what the heck is he doing? And he was a string bean. He was like 170 something pounds.
Wow.
And but professional are going more guys into the college, more maturity. Imagine a high school kid having an interview to a college player that's played in the College World Series, played in the ACC, played in the SEC. They know how to conduct themselves. Think about you guys when you were in high school. You guys were the stars, but still, it's a big difference from when you went to UM, Michael. You were 21, 22 years old. You've been it's huge. And,
it's a huge.
But baseball's exciting this year, guys, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys next week because the conference play started 2 weeks ago, and it's getting hot, especially in the ACC, guys.
Wow.
Nice. So you think those Hurricanes, guys, they're going to do something this year, Coach? They're going to win that World Series?
You know what? They got Michael and everything, and we've talked about this last year. Defense, pitching and defense is what wins. And, you could have great hitters and all that, but when the pitching comes and the defense is there for the pitching, you're going to win. And Miami has a great pitching staff. They're one of the guys one of the teams that has a freshman pitcher from Miami Christian. He's throwing the freshman 94, 96.
Wow.
And they got a lot lot of experience on the mound this year, and that's what's going to take them. If anything's going to take them far into the playoffs and hopefully to the College World Series, is going to be their pitching.
Coach, before we let you go, speaking of pitching, man, talk about this guy from the Angels, man. He's a pitch and he DH, man. Talk about that. I think he had the fastest pitch over 100 miles per hour, and then he had I guess the exit home run over 100 miles per hour. Talk about that guy from the Angels, and it's not Mike Trout. It's the I forgot his name.
Ohtani. You're talking about Ohtani, the right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter.
Yes.
And
wow.
by the way, that ball left his bat at 109 miles an hour.
Right.
When he hit that home run. You're talking about a freak now. This kid is a freak.
And he's recovering from more like Thomas John surgery last year.
Tommy John surgery. Yeah. He's recovering from it, and it's like it never happened. But guys, this kid, you could put him at any base. You could put him in any order in the batting order, and this kid's going to be successful. Okay? You know what? I'm glad you brought him up, Michael, because you talk about a guy that's in the MVP talk is Ohtani. This kid could do everything. He could hit. He could pitch. I mean, the other day he was pitching and hitting. You don't see that.
Right.
You don't even see that.
Right.
He usually just DHs or pitches. But the other day, I'm looking at the box score, the kid pitched and DH'd.
Yep. He did both.
And you don't see that. I mean, college, you're going to have the DH for the pitcher. Okay. High school pretty much is the same way. And you're talking in the big leagues. I think he was the first guy in Major League history, and please, hopefully I'm not wrong by saying this, that as a pitcher, DH, hit a home run.
Wow.
If I'm correct, it's something like that, which had never been done in the big leagues. But yeah, this guy's going to be a freak, man, and he's young. He's only 26 years old as well.
Right.
And he could do everything. He could do everything. And then, of course, you got Mr. Trout hitting behind him. So you got to pitch to Ohtani, and that's what he's going to be able. He's going to be able to hit even better this year.
Right. And it's showing they're right now they're behind the Astros. Their record is 5-2, so they're definitely getting dividends off that, man. Well, Coach. Man.
Oh yes.
Well, before we let you go, Coach, any other player, team, or who's your prediction? I know is it still like you said, still too early. Just trying to see, man, about our Yankees, man. They're at the bottom, man. You mentioned about the Yankees. We're at the bottom, man. They're like 3-4, but the season's still early, man. That thing can change so quick.
It's way, Michael, guys, it's way too early. You're talking about they've only played like 10, 11 games, and they still got 150 more games to go. And things change. Now, there's going to be a couple managers in the hot seat, though. There's some managers in the hot seat, and one of them is Boone with the Yankees, and there's a couple other guys that are in the hot seat. So hopefully here towards the end of the year they start doing well, because you know how it is. You don't want to ever see an athlete get cut or a manager get fired or a coach get fired, because we've been through that, and it's hard, and it's hard. But they're in the hot seat already, But like I said, it's going to be an incredible year.
Awesome. Well, Coach, man, we appreciate you coming on, man, and man, we'd love to get you back on, man, to keep us updated on Major League Baseball, because me and Klew, we don't know too much about it, baby. We got to lean on you.
You got it. Anytime, Michael.
All right, Coach, man. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one now.
All right.
That's our awesome Coach Laser, who comes in and speaks to us about that baseball. Guess I'm gonna be forced to learn it pretty soon as Asher gets a little bit older. I got him out there too, MB. So
nice.
At some point, I'm gonna be able to talk it a little bit.
Little something, huh?
Yeah, I learned them. Right now, I just know 1, 2, 3 hidden positions. That's all. So Man, we appreciate y'all pulling up, rolling, stopping through, hollering at us because you know us. Man, we had an awesome time tonight with MB and Klew, Sideline, and Baseline, y'all. We are out of here.
Peace.